Hi, my name is Daniel McKinley, and I am here at Zia Comics in Las Cruces, New Mexico. And today I'm going to show you the 2 to 4 player game Silver by Bezier Games. The way you play Silver is very simple. You start off with having a village of 5 cards in front of you. All of these cards are made up of what are called villagers. Each villager has some of the same basic components. They have the name on the side, they have the number up in the top corner, which tells you how many werewolves you are bringing into the village by having this villager live there. And then it has an ability and a symbol of when that ability can be used. For the sake of the overview, I'm not going to go over every single ability, but I do want to show you how the game is generally played. As you set up the 5 cards face down. You will only be looking at 2 of the cards at the beginning of the game. You keep them secret from the other players. Obviously, if you are a mayor of this town and you have werewolves coming through it, the less werewolves, the better. So your goal throughout the game is to try and lower the numbers on your cards or remove the werewolves as efficiently as possible. So on a player's turn, you have a few different choices. Firstly, you have a choice to draw a card off the top of the deck and look at it. Or you could take the top card of the discard pile. Or lastly, you can call for a vote. Call for a vote doesn't tend to happen until middle of the game, and you might not even take that action throughout the game, but I'll explain it here in a moment. More often than not, what you're going to be doing is you'll be looking through the top of the deck. Now, I wouldn't be normally showing you this card, but I'm going to show you this as this example. In this card, it is the number 5, and I can turn one of my cards face up if I play it for its ability. So I have a choice. I could either exchange it for one or more of the cards in my village, or I can simply discard it and not do anything. Or finally, if it does have this symbol, I can discard it from the top of the deck and use that action. I think I'm going to use this action as this example. I'm going to discard the exposer, and I get to flip one of my cards face up, like so. Some cards like this, the bodyguard, have an ability on the bottom. The numbers 0 through 4 all have an ability that apply when they are face up. So had I chosen the bodyguard instead, I can use its ability and protect another one of my village cards, like so. Now neither me nor opponents can look at that card or flip it. The game will continue to the next player. Let's say this number 5 looks good to you and you have a higher number. Well, you simply take the card and you replace it with one or more cards, putting the exchange card into the deck, or into the discard pile. The next player would then continue. Now, I've been saying one or more cards in exchange. So for example, if I draw a lower number card, like this number 4, then I can draw this and I can exchange it with any card that's in here, and I would discard that face up. Since that lowers my total score, that would be better for me. However, there is times where you might be able to exchange more than one card. For example, if I have more than one copy of the same card, though once again I normally would not be showing you these, but imagine these are a combination of face up and face down cards, and I had 2 or more that were the same number, like this in my village. When I take the exchange action, let's say I do this off top, I can discard all of them that match the same number. So I can get rid of both of my 12s in exchange for this 4. Pretty valuable in that instance. And that comes to our last ability, is number 13, the doppelganger. This will let you discard it along with any other number. It matches the number instead. So if I drew a card, I can discard this with any other number card in there in exchange for that. Now let's talk about the last turn and if somebody calls for a vote. Let's say if these cards, a combination of face up or face down, I believe that I have the lowest total, I can declare for a vote. Now what's going to happen is every other player playing will get one more turn, and when it returns back to me, we reveal all of our cards and total up the number of werewolves we have. Now this is like golf rules. You want to have the lowest score, and those will be played over 4 rounds. You keep track of how many points you have. However, if I called for a vote and I do have the lowest total, the number of points that I have is brought down to 0. I do not score any points for that round. However, if I was wrong, or the players manipulated it to where I did receive more points than one of the other players, then I get a 10-point penalty for calling for a vote. The game can also end when the deck runs out. Then you would total up the points there and simply keep track of them on the score pad that's included. Now finally, the player who called for the vote can also get this amulet token. An amulet token is very useful during the game. You may place it on one of your cards to protect them. Once again, no players can interact with this card until the end of the game. That is the advantage for calling for a vote. There is also another game called Silver Bullet, and this is essentially the same game. It plays very similar. However, this has a number of different cards that I'll let you discover on your own. But just know that each of the cards that are in Silver Bullet are unique than the ones that are in Silver. They can be exchanged in and out. You would want to keep the same number of cards for each number of suits, which are numbered 0 through 13, but use whichever abilities that you think makes the most sense. So that is how you play Silver and Silver Bullet. If you'd like to look into it more or would like to give it a shot, come by Zia Comics in Las Cruces, New Mexico. And just like I said in the overview, be sure to check out Silver and Silver Bullet to see which one works out for you the best.